Hey guys, what's up? I haven't done a video in quite some time. Let me tell you, life can beat the living daylights out of you. But nonetheless, I gotta try to make my videos. Now, the videos I make, like I always say, are not necessarily just made for me to say what I'm saying, but to say and hopefully touch somebody. There's approximately 9 billion people in the world. And if I just touch one person, then awesome, I did my job. So in the grand scheme of things, you think back and you reflect in life. Obviously we all have different phases, different stages of our life. But one thing is for sure, at least in this world, at least specifically in this country, we all have to work to try to obtain the things that we either want or need in our lives. Now, if you're a family person, then obviously you'll probably say you'll work for your family. If you're a single person, you could still say you work for your parents, or you want to do something for your mother or your father or your siblings. Or if you're single and you just say, I want to get myself a Rolls Royce and a condo in the Bahamas, that's cool too. At the end of the day, we all work for something. Now, no matter how you slice and dice it, okay? And you can try it. Okay? Now, I will say this, with a caveat actually, that in this new digital era, this new digital world that we live in, maybe that's the only time where we can probably get away with sacrificing time for money. But I'm 52 years old. My parents before me, my great-grandparents, and so on and so forth, we had to exchange work for money, so money can buy food and provide. And that's kind of like still the system that I live by. Although this digital world is getting a little bit easier and easier to find different methods of making money by not putting so much time, okay? But let's put that aside for a second and stick with the point. So we all work for something, okay? We all work for somebody. And when I say work for somebody, I don't mean if you're an entrepreneur that you work for somebody, but if, like I said, you're a family man, you maybe work for your wife, you work for your kids, you work for your husband, you work for an elderly, maybe your grandparents or somebody, but you work for them. Now, again, based on the model that has been, you put X amount of hours in a day so that you can earn X amount of dollars, so that you can now expend that money and put them into their appropriate slots in life. So for example, if you have a house, maybe it's your mortgage, or if you have an apartment, it's your rent. There's food, there's sustenance, there's things happen in life, there's medical, there's gas, there's insurance for either your life insurance, your car insurance, your home insurance, there's insurance for everything. And so you parse out this money. Now, this money comes from this place of income. So again, going to the rhythm of the way it normally is for the most part, is maybe this income isn't enough. And so maybe you have to work maybe more so that the income can be broader, so that you can fill these gaps. So growing up, I would always say, and of course it's naive because you got to know both sides of the story, right? I see friends or people, let's just say, that I consider to have had it all. They got the best games, they got the best toys, they got the best food, they got the best bed, the best everything. But they didn't necessarily have their parents there. So while they had, quote unquote, everything, physical thing, they didn't have the most important thing. Now, when I say important, of course, everything has to come with a grain of salt. There are literally two sides to a coin. And so while on one end, I'm sure there are parents who would love to spend this time with their kids, unfortunately have to work in order to provide for those kids. And when I say provide, it could be as simple as a bed. It could be a pillow. It could be toothbrush. It could be toothpaste. It could be sneakers. It could be underwear. It could be, if you're a female, it might be feminine products. But nonetheless, every single little item on the list has to go towards taking care of your kids. Again, now there are other people, again, there's so many facets here, but there are other people who just work for themselves. And yes, they may have family, but family is not necessarily their priority. You might be at work and you're working 10 hours a day, and the guys at work at the office say, hey, come on, let's go outside and, let's have some drinks. And, then you can go home to that stuff later on. And they would oblige, and they would love to go out with their friends after work and have a couple of drinks and get away from life and use that in-between time to escape from both work and their family. Now, I'm not judging anybody. I personally don't like to do that, never did that. I love to earn so that I can burn. So I earn to burn this money into my family. Now, the perspective of everybody is always going to be different, right? So from the perspective of, let's just say, my kids, as in this example, I'm working like crazy and I have to maintain a house and I have cars and all this stuff. And I want to make sure my kids have everything and school is paid for and they got the best clothing and they got the best quality foods and they're able to just kind of live and breathe without any worry or concern about having. And so their perspective might be like, wow, that sucks. I never see the guy. This guy's a loser, like, yeah, I mean, he was a good guy and all, providing me with all this stuff, but sheesh, I don't spend any time with him. Or to be the other side. I'm dying to get out of the office so that I could go straight home to my family. But in doing so, I probably neglected the fact that maybe I could have worked overtime to make a little bit more money so I can provide a little bit more here. But I didn't, because I just want to immediately leave this office so I can go straight to my family. And while now they have me, they may not have and enjoy some of the things that their friends have. And so no matter how you slice or dice it, you're gonna always be the bad guy, because if you work a lot and you provide everything, you're a poor dad because you're not there. And if you work just enough and it's mediocre and you're a cool dad and you're there, but you don't have any money to provide them the things that their friends have, and so they feel like they're cheated and slighted in some way, you're not going to win. So in any case, the main thing of this story, the thrust of this, is perspective. Perspective is key. At the end of the day, what do you do for yourself and or your family and or your loved ones? You may not have kids or wife or husband, people that you love. If it's done with a pure heart, a heart of authenticity, a heart that is willing to be tested and tried for diligence and honesty and integrity, then you're doing the right thing and you've done the right thing. Listen, we all have to succumb to some decision one way or another. And, you're not going to, unfortunately, get the votes of everybody. And that's life, and that's cool. But for you as a human being, if you're a son, for example, and you work hard and you go to college and you do all the stuff that you feel you need to do in order to make your parents proud, then that's cool, But there are some kids who go through the college system, go through the whole workforce, and go through this whole, I would say fictitious life, this life of duplicity, because they're just doing it to appease their parents, and they suffer in the process. And now they're somewhere in their early 20s in life, and they're lost because they really don't know who they are, because they've been working to be everything that their parents want them to be. And so, as you can clearly see, there's always this dichotomy between right and wrong and good and bad and what works and what doesn't work. And it's hard to sift through all of that without knowing and understanding one thing. In your heart. So forget about everybody, forget about the naysayers, forget about the people who pat you on the back, forget about in your heart. Did you do, or do you do the things you do with the right intentions? You see, intentions are really, I would say, the undercurrent of everything that spills outside. That intention is what drives what you do, who you do it for, why you do it, and what you will ultimately become in your life. So check your intentions first and foremost. And if you stay true to your intentions, and if they are indeed pure, all of these peripherals, these decisions that just have to be made no matter what, one way, shape, or another, they have to be made. It's either going to be too much of this and too little of this, too little of this and too much of this. And trying to find that balance in an unbalanced world can be pretty precarious and outright draining. So think about your intentions. And if your intentions are pure and good and honest and true, then you're doing the right thing. But only you would know that. Unfortunately, everybody else around you is going to have an opinion of who you are, what you are to them, and what you mean, or how have you affected their life, whether positively or negatively. But only your intentions and your heart behind those intentions are going to give you some solace and peace of mind, knowing that what you do either for yourself or for the people you love. All right, I hope that this message resonated with at least one person. Like always, send some comments. I'm always open to that. And I'm looking forward to making a new video for you very soon. All right, guys, take it easy. Peace.